Welcome to the Music Room for Cinco de Mayo 2016. Today's album, Peter Gabriel's 1986 release of So. I got 3 stories to talk about. Let's quickly get through them. At that point, I was living in the Leisure Club with Bob, Karen, and probably Chris. And we would have these parties every December, the first Saturday in December, called the Summer in December Party. It was like a beach party. We'd get a kiddie pool and put some ice in there and put our keg in there, and people would sit around lawn chairs and drink beer out of this keg in the kiddie pool. So some of the guys would come down from Albuquerque, some of the spuds. There was, Mumby Legs and Skid and Coggy, maybe, before he went to Austin, and Spike. Here's a picture of Spike in one of these trips down to Las Cruces. So during that party, somebody says, "Hey, Spike, you should go check out Craig's Stereo." So I went back in my bedroom, and in that bedroom, I had a bed and a giant government surplus desk. It was so big we had to take it apart to get it into the room. And I remember when we left the Leisure Club, we just left it in the room. Anyway, on that desk, I had all my stereo gear. I had this amplifier here. This is a Hafler and a Carver preamp. A Carver tuner, and like a DBX expander, and what else? Oh, Nakamichi tape deck, and my Yamaha 2X oversampling CD player. So in 1986, I'd had that CD player for about a year, and I stopped buying albums. I only bought CDs. And so I figured, all right, let me look through the CDs and find something to play for Sadler. And there was 2 albums at the time that I would use for that. One of them was Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits. And the other one was this album, So, by Peter Gabriel. I pull out So. Sadler rolls his eyes and he's like, "Ugh, Peter Gabriel." And I was like, "What?" And he says, he shakes his head because Sadler's like a King Crimson guy. And he's an early Genesis guy and thinks that Peter Gabriel was just like this horrible influence on the rock world. But anyway, so I put it on anyway. And I put on, what did I put on? I put on song number 2, which is Sledgehammer. And those little Advent speakers, I also had some Advent bookshelf speakers. They sounded pretty good in that little room. So I turn it up, and Sadler's drinking his beer, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever, stereo gear. Let's go ahead and drink some more beer." So I shut it all off, and we went back out. So whenever I see that So album, I immediately kind of think of Sadler and rolling his eyes. The next story is these music room segments. I actually see this album here, the jewel box for this. Every time I record one of these music room segments, in the early days, I'd go through and I'd rewatch these things, kind of critiquing my performance, figuring out what I need to change, audio levels, lighting, whatever. And I found that I was saying the word "so" as an introductory word for all my sentences. So I would introduce, blah, blah, blah. And so then, Sadler came back in the room. So I picked out an album. It drove me crazy enough that I was like, all right, I got to do something about this. So when I was sorting out my CDs for the room here, I found this and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I need to do with this. This actually fits right underneath the camera. So when I look at the camera, I'm reminded to not say the word "so," and it works great. I've caught myself saying it about 6 times in this segment. It's a hard habit to break. But the real reason I'm recording today is I'm going to go up here to, since it's Cinco de Mayo, 5/5. I'm going to go up to song number 5. This is In Your Eyes off of Peter Gabriel's So album, and I'd like to say happy wedding anniversary to Jim and Lisa. This is the Music Room for Cinco de Mayo 2016.
I get so